Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am actually going to be doing a podcast while you're here with me on Instagram. And so I'm recording my podcast right here while you're watching on Instagram. So I'm excited to have you here. So I'm going to be talking about this week is a solo episode. Every other week I've been having a guest come on, but this week is a solo episode. So we are going to be talking about intuitive eating, of course. That's what I do. But a month ago, I did terminology of intuitive eating and more on that logistical side of intuitive eating. But now I'm going to be talking about terminology of the coaching world and also what I involve just me personally in my own style of coaching and all the pieces that I have gained in these nuggets, these terminology pieces that have really helped me make the difference for myself and for people when I coach. So here we go. There are going to be quite a few of them, but I'm kind of going to give it as examples and analogies, and they're really fun to learn, and it's going to be helpful for you as you are on your intuitive eating journey. So here we go. But number one, we'll start off with one that you've heard me talk about before, and that is mindset overhaul. So mindset overhaul, number one, is taking apart our mindset, and it includes the way we are thinking, the way we behave, how we were brought up, all of that. And in order to examine it and repair it, you have to look at that, and you have to know where to go. It takes a lot of time as we think differently and using new empowering thoughts, that over and over and over again, our brains will change, and they will, as they're neuroplastic, our brains are neuroplastic, they'll change even as we're older. So if you feel like I'm an old dog in my ways, there's still hope for you. So number two, another terminology is fire in your belly. So I use this term with people once they've really gotten to a point where they're getting better with intuitive eating, and it's even something as they're still in the trenches, they see in the distance what they really want. We want to be fulfilled as people, and with that means we need to chase what's the fire in our belly. And when I help get people into that mode of thinking, I always have them look for two major clues that help them know what that is, what that fire in their belly is. And that is including, you'll find it'll always include people as one of them, because it's beautiful how all of our unique missions, if you already know yours, it's the common denominator is to love and help people. Now, number two is a way to prepare for the second coming of Christ. So that kind of goes hand in hand, because that's how we are preparing for Christ to come, is we help and we love people and we create connections with each other and help bring them to Christ. But if you're wondering how to do that, the first great step is to ask God, just talk to him. What is the most important thing that I need to do to be prepared and to help myself and others for Christ to come and to be ready? And he will tell you. That's a powerful prayer that you can have. Okay, number three, this is a really cool one too. My homecoming stool. These are the pillars of my coaching. So these are the three God-given areas I feel like we all have in our life, and I implement them in my program. And it's kind of that term, that phrase that we hear, mind, body, and spirit. I felt like I have found the pieces of each of those, and that is body being intuitive eating. That's really the way we should go about how we treat our bodies. And I really feel like it's a complete modality that does that. And it's the closest thing I've found that is in line with God's ways and has made me happy and just changed my life. And there are 10 principles. So that's its own thing. But mind being, there are specific mindset skills that the coaching world entails. And I think a lot of us even know it, even in the dialogue that we're hearing about here on Instagram, and just the world is starting to see that we need to have those skills handy for us to be able to get through these times. That could include the self-care, the boundaries, the communication we have with others, the way we see ourselves, and the dichotomous thinking we need to take out of our life, the black or white thinking, that things can still be in the middle and it's all going to be okay. And the affirmations we tell ourselves, there are a lot of skills in there. And three is spirit, mind, body, spirit, and that's healing in Christ. So I talk about how we could put Christ in all this. And that's called my homecoming stool, because a stool has 3 legs. So if I didn't explain that before, I'm sorry. But that's what I found, those mind, body, spirit, the 3 legs of that stool. You're coming home to yourself, homecoming, because we're at war with ourselves a lot. And especially with women that come to me at that point where they've hit diet rock bottom. They've been bullying themselves for years and not being at home in their body. So that's where we want to be. That's what I do in my coaching. It's really fun stuff. Okay, number 4, body acceptance. This is a different form of body positivity. And we've all heard of body positivity, but there's so much more to it than that. You accept your body no matter what size it is. That's body acceptance. Body positivity, sometimes we just think of it as believing our body looks good, but we love it regardless when it's body acceptance. And as Lindsay and Lexi Kite have said, and they are prominent body acceptance role models I have looked up to for years, is knowing that our body is good regardless of how it looks. So be in the realm of body acceptance rather than body positivity. So number 5, body objectification. So objectification, that root word is object. It's the act of looking on other people and ourselves and seeing them and others as objects. And it's that we are to be viewed for our pleasure or liking, or their pleasure or liking. And we need to know that so that we know what to tackle. When you can name it, you can tame it, because that's really what it is at the root of our world right now in diet culture and mentality, that we're seeing others as objects and what we can gain from that and the viewing of it, or what it does too for us. That's not where our value lies. So remember, objectification is the enemy. We want to get over that. Now, I think we're on number 6, is this paradox. It's called the intuitive eating paradox. So I have here, and I've talked about it before, this Chinese finger trap. You see that here? So this goes for any concept in our life, honestly, but think about it with food. So that as we let go of our bodies and what we want it to do with food and everything, we find that I'm not really pulling, but I'm able to come out. But when I pull really hard, it really pulls on me. You see that? I'm not really showing it well, but this is kind of how it goes in life, where the harder we try sometimes, the more we want to control, the more it actually flees away from us. So if we're looking for control with food, it's not really where we need to be. It's what I mean to say, when we're looking for peace with food, that's where, if we let go of that control, we're going to find the peace. So remember this finger trap analogy. This can go with even relationships with life, even with our kids. We think we need to control and do more, but it's more of the letting go and trusting in a process that's going to help you. So now let's go on to the next one. I think 7. I might be off count. But this is called the ski slope analogy. This is my favorite way to explain cognitive behavioral therapy. That's a lot of stuff for you to digest. But if you ever heard of CBT, this is a great way for you to understand CBT and to get rid of distorted thoughts. Okay, here we go, making it easy for you. The ski slope analogy. And I just talked about this recently when I did the Good Things Utah segment. I was on the news. I was on the Day Show in Utah. And I talked about this with what we're working on with our body image. We've always been telling ourselves bad things. If you're in that negative body image, you've been telling yourself that for a long time, that you have a negative body and it's not what you want. But with this idea of a ski slope, we as skier, if you're a skier, I'm a skier, we want to take the quickest route down to the bottom, to the lodge. That's a lot. Of course, we want to make it challenging, but if we want to take the easy route, we're going to take the most groomed and the easiest path with the least amount of trees and boulders. And that's what our mind has done. We have been thinking that thought across our mind, the easiest path that we know. We know that there's a pool party coming up. Oh no, I can't really wear that swimsuit. I'm going to have to just wear a t-shirt. I need to go to a workout class. I'm not going to wear a tank top. My arms are flabby. So we take that easiest route down and that quickest way down to the bottom. that is not where we want to be. And a lot of times we think that's safe. We want to get to that lodge at the bottom, of course, that's safe. And maybe it's just a normal average lodge. But this is where the distorted thoughts come in. Those are distorted thoughts, and you want to change that. And where you can is, and where this comes in is where we start to take another route in our mind, just like a ski slope. We're going to take a different ski slope that's not as groomed, because we haven't built that groomed path in a long time. So it's there. It's just not been groomed in a long time, and hasn't been paved through because you haven't taken that route. And it may, and I can almost guarantee it's going to take you to a way better lodge. This lodge may be, 10,000 square feet and beautiful chandeliers and a whole hot cocoa bar, all those things. That is much better. Just like when you finally go across in your mind thinking, I can go to the pool party. I'm just going to have fun. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to worry about what I'm wearing and what I'm doing. I just want to go to that class and enjoy myself, and it's going to be fine. I don't need to worry about what other people think. It's a much better place. So that one took a little while, but it's a really important one I love. Now, negative body talk. So that's a term here. This is one of the terminology of tearing down. You're tearing down the way you look with your body size and your height. And it's one of the most disrespectful behaviors we can ever do to ourselves. And we would never say these things to our own self, to a child or to a friend, but we say it to ourselves is what I'm saying. And it really should be considered abuse. So negative body talk is a coaching term that we have in our dialogue as we talk. Okay, that's negative body talk. We name it to tame it. So be aware of that. Now, body checking is the next one. This is when you enter a room and you see where you rank among everyone else. And this is where we need to be aware of really how much we're looking in the mirrors excessively, in elevators or dressing rooms or in the gym. And when you're body checking, it only perpetuates the judgment that you may hold about yourself and how you measure up. So it's a real thing. Have you ever thought maybe you do too much body checking? So be aware of that and how you can change that. Now, next, self-actualization is the realization or fulfillment of one's talents and potentials, especially considered as a drive or need present in everyone. So self-actualization is in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you've ever seen that triangle of Maslow, he was a psychologist that created these hierarchy of needs that people need. And of course, at the bottom is safety and food and to be able to function. And the next are the other ones of self-esteem. There are about 5 of them. The very top is self-actualization. And this is where I try to get people to when I coach them, is that we want to get to that point where we are realizing our complete fulfillment in life of your own talents and your abilities that you're sent here to do, just like God has known you to be. And that's why he sent you here, and he has created you that way. And it is in everyone. We all have this drive. Now, let's talk about just a couple more, and then we can leave some more for later another time. I think I just have so many that I need to leave some for later at another time. Let's talk about, for the most part, frame of mind. I'll have this be our last one. Now, for this most part frame of mind, this is where you reframe your perfectionistic goals and with reasonable intentions instead. So you're giving yourself flexibility and breathing room for life. This is a phrase that I encourage people to say, that even some people may treat intuitive eating as a diet, and like, I wasn't intuitive today with my eating, and I overate here, and I've waited too long to finally eat, so I ended up overeating. But if we say the term for the most part, that's where you're going to find success. And that if you say that at the end, if you say that as a tagline for yourself at the beginning or end of your sentences, that's going to help you. I wasn't intuitive today, but for the most part I am, if you get there, and more. So have that be your go-to for when you say, when you're usually saying things in a perfect sense, that should be now your new go-to. So those are my terms today. Things like, for the most part, thinking, self-actualization, body checking, negative body talk, the ski slope analogy, intuitive eating paradox, objectification, body acceptance, homecoming stool, fire in the belly, and mindset overhaul. So I think that's a good handful of them that I think that you'll be able to chew on. But if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I'm so glad you guys got to learn something today. And come check this out on the podcast or watch it on Instagram. But you guys have a great rest of your day.